It starts with a specific kind of silence. Maybe it's late at night, the house is finally quiet, and the glow of a screen is the only light in the room. Or maybe it's the middle of the day in a crowded room, but your mind has drifted to a place where you are completely alone. You know the feeling. It starts as a whisper, a familiar itch in the back of your brain. It's not just a desire, it feels like a biological command. Your heart rate picks up just a fraction. The logic centers of your brain, the parts of you that know better, the parts of you that made promises to God this very morning, they start to get foggy. It's like a fog rolls in and suddenly the consequences don't feel real anymore. Only the hunger feels real. And then the loop closes. You give in. Or you fight it for an hour, white-knuckling your way through the urge, only to collapse when your willpower runs out. And then comes the aftermath, the crash. That heavy, hollow feeling in your chest. The shame isn't just an emotion, it's a physical weight. You look in the mirror and you wonder, why can't I stop this? Do I not love God enough? Am I broken? If you are nodding your head, if you feel a tightness in your chest because I'm describing your reality, I need you to take a deep breath right now. Let it out. You are not broken. You are stuck in a loop. A neural loop. See, for years, we've been told that overcoming lust is just a matter of trying harder. We treat it like a muscle we just need to flex. But if you've been fighting this battle for any length of time, you know that willpower has a battery life. It eventually hits zero. What if I told you that the battle isn't actually about willpower? What if the reason you keep falling into the same pit isn't because you're weak, but because you are fighting a chemical war with spiritual weapons that you haven't sharpened yet? We're going to talk about Joseph today. Joseph in Egypt, Potiphar's house. You've heard the story 1,000 times in Sunday school. The young man who ran away, the hero. But I want to submit to you that we have missed the most critical part of Joseph's story. We focus on his feet, that he ran out of the room. But the victory didn't happen when his feet moved. The victory happened in a split second inside his mind before his muscles ever tensed to run. Joseph hacked the neural loop. He understood something about identity and reality that broke the trance of lust instantly. There was a specific mental pivot he made, a way he viewed his connection to God that acted like a circuit breaker. And the amazing thing is, modern neuroscience is finally catching up to what Joseph knew thousands of years ago. If you were tired of the cycle, the sin, the shame, the confession, the repeat, then stay with me. We aren't going to give you a list of 5 things to do to be a better Christian today. We are going to go deep into the neurology of sin and the theology of freedom. We are going to find that circuit breaker.
Because God doesn't just want you to be good. He wants you to be whole. And there is a way out of the fog. But to find it, we have to stop looking at the temptation itself and start looking at what's happening beneath it. We need to talk about why your brain clings to this and why Joseph was able to let go. The answer is going to surprise you because it has very little to do with hating the sin and everything to do with something else entirely, something much more powerful. Let's pause for a second and validate what makes this battle so incredibly difficult. There is a biological reason why you feel like you're fighting a losing war. In the quiet moments, when that urge hits, your brain is actually doing exactly what it was designed to do for survival. It's seeking dopamine. It's seeking relief. It's seeking a bond. We often shame ourselves thinking, I'm just a wicked person who loves dirt. But if we are honest, usually we aren't looking for the sin itself. We are looking for relief from stress, or loneliness, or boredom, or pain. And your brain, that efficient machine, knows the fastest shortcut to chemical relief. It has burned a pathway, a neural superhighway that says click this, look at this, think this, and the pain goes away for 10 minutes. That is the natural self. It's the default wiring of the human vessel. It craves what is immediate. It doesn't care about your spiritual goals, it cares about your present comfort. And this is exactly where Joseph stood. I think we do Joseph a disservice when we paint him as this stoic, emotionless, stained glass figure. Think about his reality. He was young, likely in his late teens or early 20s. That is peak testosterone. That is peak drive. But look at his context. He was a slave. He had been betrayed by the very people who were supposed to love him, his brothers. He was alone in a foreign land. He didn't have a Bible to read. It hadn't been written yet. He didn't have a youth pastor checking in on him. He was completely isolated. If anyone had an excuse to seek comfort, to seek a moment of feeling wanted, it was Joseph.
And then you have Potiphar's wife. The text tells us this wasn't a one-time offer. It says she spoke to him day by day. Imagine the relentless pressure. She wasn't just offering sex, she was offering power. She was offering a change in status. She was offering a way to stop being a nobody's slave for a few moments.
Most of us crumble when the temptation hits once. Joseph was swimming in it. The environment was designed to make him fall. So why didn't he? The standard answer is he loved God. And that's true, but it's not specific enough to help us on a Tuesday night when we are weak. I want you to look closely at what Joseph says when he finally draws the line. In Genesis 39, he lists all the reasons he can't do it. He tells her that his master trusts him. He talks about logic. But then he lands on the ultimate reason. He says, "How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say, "I'll get caught." He didn't say, "It's against the rules." He said, "How can I sin against God?" In that moment of intense biological pressure, Joseph did something that seems impossible to us. He made God more real than the woman standing in front of him. See, the natural self only sees what is right in front of its eyes. It sees the screen, the person, the opportunity. It screams, "This is real. This is here. Take it." Joseph had a secret source of strength. He had the ability to see the invisible connection between him and his Creator as a solid, unbreakable cord. He realized that while nobody else was in the room, the most important person was in the room. He realized that his identity wasn't slave who needs comfort. His identity was son who is trusted by his father. This is the pivot. The moment you move from trying not to do a bad thing to protecting a relationship you cherish, the neurology changes. But how do we actually do that? How do we make God more real than the dopamine rush? Because I know, right now you might be thinking, that sounds nice, but when the fog rolls in, God feels a million miles away. I get that. I really do. But there is a way to bridge that gap. Joseph didn't just have willpower, he had a strategy. He had a way of framing his world that broke the loop before it could tighten around his neck. We're going to look at the mechanics of that strategy next. We're going to talk about the line in the sand and how you can draw one that actually holds. So let's go deep. We need to dissect the theology of this moment because this is where the freedom actually lives.
Joseph calls this act great wickedness. That's a heavy phrase. In our modern world, we've softened the edges of lust. We call it a habit, a struggle, a weakness. And while those words are true, they are passive. They make us sound like victims of a storm we can't control. Joseph used active language. He owned his agency. He recognized that engaging in this act wasn't just a slip-up, it was a betrayal. Think about a marriage. If a husband cheats on his wife, the pain isn't just that he broke a rule written on a piece of paper.
The pain is that he took the intimacy that belonged to the covenant and gave it to a stranger. He vandalized the relationship. Joseph understood that his body and his spirit were not his own to auction off to the highest bidder. He understood he was in a covenant relationship with the Almighty. Even without the written law, the law was written on his heart. This is the concept I want you to sit with. The law of chastity is not a restriction. It is a protection of your power. When we give in to lust, we are leaking spiritual power. We are fragmenting our souls. We take a piece of our heart and we attach it to something temporary, something hollow, and then we wonder why we feel empty. We feel empty because we poured ourselves out into a broken cistern. Joseph knew that if he said yes to Potiphar's wife, he would be saying no to his future. He would be saying no to the destiny God had for him, to save nations, to lead Egypt, to reunite his family. He couldn't see that future yet, but he preserved it by staying whole in the present. Here's the line in the sand moment for you. You have to decide if you are a body that happens to have a spirit or a spirit that has a body. If you are just a body, then sure, feed the appetites. Eat, drink, and be merry. But you and I both know that's a lie. You know it because of how miserable you feel after you indulge. That misery is your spirit screaming. It's your spirit saying, I was made for more than this. I was made for light, not this cheap artificial glow. So here's the deep theological shift. You must stop fighting the darkness and start turning on the light. When the urge comes, that neural loop triggers, you usually try to fight it by saying, no, don't look, don't think about it. But psychology tells us that the more you try not to think of a white bear, the only thing you can think about is a white bear. You are still focusing on the object of temptation. Joseph didn't stand there and debate with Potiphar's wife. He didn't argue the pros and cons. The scripture says he fled and got him out.
He radically changed his environment. But more importantly, he had already radically changed his heart. He loved God more than the sin. This is the key. You cannot displace a strong desire with nothing. You can only displace a desire with a stronger desire. If your love for God is abstract, if it's just a nice idea, it will never be stronger than the visceral, chemical pull of lust. God has to become your secret sauce. You have to cultivate a relationship with Him that is so intimate, so vulnerable, that the thought of disrupting it hurts more than the denial of the flesh. We're talking about a love that crosses the veil, a connection that feels like a lifeline. When you are in that fog, you have to learn to ask a different question. Instead of asking, "Can I get away with this?" ask, "Is this worth trading my spiritual confidence for?" Because that is the trade, every time. You trade your confidence before God for a moment of sensation. Now, I know this sounds high and lofty, love God more, but what does that actually look like at 11 p.m. on a Friday? How do we take this theology and turn it into a tactical plan for when the enemy is at the gate? We need granular steps. We need a battle plan for the neural loop, because inspiration is great, but application is where the chains actually fall off. All right, let's get practical, removing from the why to the how. We need to build a system that interrupts the neural loop. Remember, a habit loop has 3 parts: the cue, the trigger, the routine, the action, and the reward, the relief. We need to hack this. Step 1. Identify the HALT triggers. Joseph was targeted day by day. The enemy is observant. You need to be observant too. Usually, we fall when we are one of 4 things: hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. This is the HALT acronym. When the urge hits, pause. Don't engage with the lust yet. Just ask, what am I actually feeling? Am I really horny, or am I just lonely? Am I stressed about work? Did someone hurt my feelings? 90% of the time, lust is just a painkiller for one of those 4 emotions. If you can identify the real need, you can treat the root cause instead of medicating the symptom. If you're lonely, call a friend. If you're tired, go to sleep without your phone. If you're angry, go for a run. Address the actual deficit.
Step 2. The 5-second physical pivot. Joseph physically ran. We need a modern equivalent. When the thought enters your mind, you have a window of about 5 seconds before your brain starts to rationalize it. In those 5 seconds, you need to physically change your state. Stand up, walk out of the room, throw your phone on the couch, do 10 push-ups. You are shocking your system. You are breaking the trance. You are telling your body, we are not doing the routine today. It sounds simple, but motion changes emotion. Step 3. The bookend prayer. This is your secret weapon. We often pray after we mess up. God, I'm sorry, please forgive me. That's good, but it's reactive. I want you to pray before the fight starts. Start your day with a bookend prayer. Father, I am weak today. I surrender my eyes and my thoughts to you. If I am tempted, please provide a way of escape. And then, this is the hard part. When the urge hits, pray in the middle of the urge, even if you don't want to, even if you want the sin. Pray honestly. God, I want to look at this right now. I don't want to be good, but I am asking you to help me. That level of honesty, that vulnerability, that is where the power enters. God can work with honesty. He can't work with hiding. Step 4. Radical amputation. Jesus said if your eye offends you, pluck it out. He wasn't speaking literally, but he was being deadly serious about removing access. If you stumble on Instagram, delete the app. If you stumble late at night, put your router on a timer to shut off at 10 p.m. If your phone is the problem, buy a dumb alarm clock and charge your phone in the kitchen. You cannot negotiate with a terrorist, and you cannot negotiate with lust. Don't try to be strong, be smart. Joseph didn't stay in the room to test his strength. He removed himself from the danger zone. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Failure. What happens if you do all this and you still fall? Because you probably will. The road to recovery is rarely a straight line. It's a jagged graph. The enemy's favorite weapon isn't the sin itself. It's the shame that comes after. He wants you to think, well, I blew it. I'm back to zero. God is disgusted with me. I might as well give up. Do not listen to that voice. Repentance is not a punishment. It is a course correction. If you fall, you don't stay down. You don't wallow for 3 days. You get up immediately. You look at what happened. You learn from the trigger. You ask for forgiveness, and you step back onto the path.
A righteous man falls 7 times and rises up again. The definition of a righteous person isn't someone who never falls. It's someone who refuses to stay down. God is not looking for perfection today. He is looking for progression. He is looking for a heart that keeps turning back to Him, no matter how many times it takes. I want to leave you with one final, essential challenge. For the next 7 days, I don't want you to try to be perfect. I want you to become a scientist. I want you to start taking notes on the neural loop. Here is your homework. Every night, before you go to sleep, grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Write down the trigger points from the day. Not with judgment, but with curiosity. When did the fog almost roll in? Was it after you read an email that made you angry? Was it when you went to bed late? Was it because you hadn't talked to anyone all day? Identify the real pain that lust was trying to medicate. Because when you can name the pain, you take away the shame, and you can finally start to heal the wound instead of just bandaging the symptom. This is the act of taking back your agency. This is you telling your brain, I am the director.
not the reactor. I know a voice might be whispering right now, "This is too big. This struggle is my identity. I'll never escape it." But that is the voice of the enemy, and that is a lie. If you understand nothing else from this conversation, understand this. Joseph didn't just save his virtue, he saved his capacity for true love. Lust is the ultimate counterfeit. It promises connection, but it only delivers isolation. It promises warmth, but it leaves you cold and empty. It fragments your heart and trains you to see people, and even yourself, as objects for temporary pleasure. But purity, wholeness, that is the capacity to love God with an undivided heart, and therefore to love others with a heart that is completely full. The blessing Joseph preserved by running out of that room was the blessing of being able to stand whole before his father and to be a vessel of salvation for his family, both then and in the generations to come. Your future self is depending on the decision you make right now. The person you want to become, the person who is capable of deep, lasting, eternal connections, the person who can look their loved ones in the eye without a shadow of shame, the person who stands confidently before their Creator, that person is waiting for you to stop fighting the darkness and start chasing the light.
When the urge comes, remember Joseph. Remember that in the moment of weakness, he didn't focus on the woman, the temptation, or the sin. He focused on the relationship. He focused on the only thing that truly mattered. He asked the ultimate question: how then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Let that be your question. Let the protection of that precious bond be the stronger desire that finally breaks the loop. Because you are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not your darkest habit. You are a beloved child of light, and you were created for glory. Your Father is waiting to receive you, whole and undefiled. You just need to turn around and run home.